Today we're being joined by a very special guest from the Perth WAFLW club, Jess Pike. Jess, thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Now, Rose, tell us a bit about yourself. What got you into footy and what type of player you are?
So what got me into footy, I'd have to say, as much as I hate to say it, my older brother. Obviously, he was down at the local club playing, and obviously was there watching him play, and I just liked the look of it. So I was like, Mom, can I please play? And just got straight into it. So it went like since I was 5. So yeah, bit of a long
Nice.
time. Yeah.
So obviously you're only 18, so obviously that draft and AFLW dream, I'm sure, is still a dream for you. How have you been in that process, and how do you feel around this time of year or heading into next year?
Yeah, I don't like to put too much stress on myself because I'm a bit of I like a bit of confidence. So I like
Yeah.
to kind of see what happens, go with the flow of things. But yeah, of course it's a dream. Like anyone playing footy at this level, I guess it's always there for them. But yes.
That's good. So what type of position do you play down at Perth?
Yeah, so I've just recently moved from centre half back to rock. So that's a bit interesting, right in the middle of things. But yeah, I grew up playing rock, so it's not anything too new. But yeah, moved to that.
It's good. So obviously you grew up playing in a boys' side at your local club where you won multiple best and fairest. How proud are you of that? Not only to win multiple best and fairest, but in the side that has boys in it. Now, when I say that, I mean, obviously, it's sometimes a bit harder for either gender, but like it makes it more impressive is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. Like it's good. Like I grew up with those that group of people, so it was a really good team to play in. And yeah, I'm proud, but yeah, it's yeah.
It is what it is. Then there was a point where you couldn't end up playing with the boys anymore, and then you single-handedly established a female team at the club. How was that process? How was that come about? Was that more forced off? You can't play with the boys type thing. How did that come about?
It was just kind of a realization, I had friends in that position as well in other teams. Obviously, I was the only female, but from other teams, and I kind of just thought, like, what do we do from here? Obviously, there is that waffle level, but what about the other people that maybe don't want to play at that level or just can't? And yeah, it kind of just popped on my mind. I was like, well, I have a lot of friends that are willing to play, so may as well just get them all together and pitch the idea. And yeah, it seemed to work pretty well. The team's still running, and they're doing
Yes,
pretty good at it. So yeah.
good. So obviously we'll just backtrack a little bit to those best and fairest that you won back in those years in a row against the boys, and then winning one recently as well. So you just love racking up the awards, Jess. It seems, especially that side of things.
Yeah, nah, I'd have to say that one was a bit of luck with the girls' side. I obviously didn't play too much games with that, but I guess it just, I don't know, caught me on a bit of a better days. But yeah, no, I'm very grateful. But yeah, I don't know. I like playing more. It's not all for the awards side of things.
That's fair enough. I mean, in 2023, so only last year, you were voted a part of the WAFC Central Conference Team of the Year while only playing 5 games in that season. That's obviously, again, another huge honour to get in the Team of the Year at any level while only playing basically under half the games, or if not half.
Yeah, thank you. No, it was that big surprise. I was not expecting it at all, especially the fact I don't know, I didn't feel like personally that I'd played that great, but I guess yeah, I don't know. I'm honoured, that's for sure. Yes.
Yeah, it's very good. Now, from more of a higher honours point of view, in 2019, you were part of the WA State Under-15s development team. How did that process come about to be a part of that squad? And then how did you feel once you were in it?
Yeah, so it was just like I've had people from Swan Districts and my local club, as that's where I used to play, say, hey, you should go down and give it a go. Got reached out by a few people, and I just went down, tried out. Unfortunately, I made the development team, but unfortunately, I just missed out on the travel team due to I grew up having, I'm not sure if you heard it, but it was gush ladders. It's where you have a painful bump under your knee, and yeah, it was just a bit of too much grief, and I had a lot going on then as extra sporting activities and stuff. So just missed out on traveling, but it was amazing. I loved it, gained that higher level experience because obviously that was kind of the switch from the male team to the female team. So that was the first kind of aspect I've seen along playing alongside and even training with females. So yeah, it was really cool to see that side of things and build that connection.
That's good. So obviously, you originally, as you briefly mentioned, that the Swan Districts obviously originally started training them in 2019, and then as an underage and debuted in 2020. But then recently, you moved to Perth. What prompted that move? And obviously, they had their inaugural team last year. Was that a big reason why? Was it more of a travel side of things? Was it friends? What was prompted the move? What prompted the move?
There was a bit into it. I kind of just, I don't, coming back to the confidence side of thing, I've struggled with that a lot, and nothing like playing at Swans for those few years. I kind of just wanted to try something else and see if that would work. Obviously, a few of my friends came over with me, so that was really great. I had that connections with me, yeah. But other than that, it was kind of just something new, I guess, and yeah, something to be a part of. Yeah.
So obviously, in last year for Perth, you won the Arthur Rance Medalist, which is the club's personal award. Tell us a bit about that, because like everyone can win a B&F and it's great and it's more of a voting system. But how would you rank best and fairest and higher honor medals, whether they're team premierships or that, compared to say awards like this? Because I've had some people on recently who've won trademark awards like yours. How highly do you rank them? Because they seem to rank them very high. How do you rank yours?
Yeah. In a humble way, personally, it means a lot more to me with that, because anyone can be a good player, but I feel like that next level is being a good person as much as, yeah, I don't know. It's. I was very honored to achieve that. I was not expecting it at all, but I'm extremely grateful. Like Arthur, didn't know him personally, but have heard of him and read about him, and he seems like such a top guy, like life member, multiple roles within the club, and it was known as the spirit of the demons. So, yeah, it's pretty good to have achieve an award that's named after him.
For sure. And now, also last year, you're part of the Perth's inaugural leadership and team, being the vice captain this year as well. So, how honoured are you to be in the leadership group and be vice captain this year? But also, was that also always something you wanted to aspire to be into leadership, or was it something that just happened? How did that come about?
Like I'm honored to have that role, but personally, it's like I see in a way as a title. Like I'm always gonna be team first. Like I'm always there for my team. I always want to show them, what's right, wrong, and just like, I guess it comes down to just actions. Like I've never kind of just been like, oh yeah, I want to be the captain. I want to be the leader. But it just kind of came along, and I'm very grateful. But yeah, to me, it's just a bit of a title. Like you shouldn't change how you act just with a title. You should be who you are, and if that's a leader, then yeah.
It's very true. I mean, you don't necessarily have to have the official title, vice captain, captain, or be part of a leadership group and still not lead in your own way. What I call is an off-title leader. You can still be in your own way without having the official title. Now, something I found very interesting for someone at your age, at 18 years of age, you're part of the coaching staff in the WAFLW Perth development team last year for the female side of things. How did that come about? Has coaching always been something you'd want to get into, even at this age?
Yeah, so I do study that. So I'm studying a diploma of sport and leadership, so a dual diploma, and obviously like Cert 4 fitness, Cert 3 fitness. So I'm heavily involved in that side of things. It just kind of came about like obviously training with the Rogers Cup, playing there, sorry, with Perth. And then I don't know, I kind of just wanted to see the development side of things. So I just went down to the training sessions, helped out, and then the coaches just put it to me. They're like, "Hey, like, do you want to be part of the like official coaching group? Do you want to be a line coach?" And I was like, "You know what? Yeah, like I'd love to." So yeah, that's how that came about. And once again, very grateful for that. It was good to see like the up and coming players because now they're on our team playing with us. So yeah, it's great.
Very true. Now, what are some goals you set for yourself this year, Jess? Obviously, being 18, obviously still got the whole on that dream AFLW, I'm sure, as you mentioned. And yeah, how do you approach this year as a whole?
Yeah, so it's more working on the finer details of things and seeing that like build up. Starting with personally like confidence side of things. Coming from when I first started playing at a waffle level, I was almost like I I was like almost on the opposite side of the ball at all times. Like I was just that fear in my head. I was like, like I'm not good enough. Like a lot of people have that, and I struggle with that a lot. So that's definitely something I want to work on, and I have been. So yeah, starting with something as little as that, and obviously focusing on like training skills. But yeah, confidence is definitely the place to start.
Definitely, for sure. What would you say is some of your strengths as a footballer? You mentioned a position you play early, so what would you say some of your biggest strengths as a footballer?
Yeah. As I'm like, I don't know. I see myself as more as a defender. Like, yeah, I like a bit of contact. We'll say that. Or feel
Yeah,
always feels good to give a tackle or even receive it. Like the physicality side of things for sure.
that's good. So, um, when you tackle, do you in the good way? Do you want to make it hurt?
Uh, nah. That my I kind of just want the ball. Like, yeah, it's kind of just all about the ball, I guess. Like, obviously, I want to have the possession, give it off to my team and stuff like that.
That's good. Who did you grow up supporting?
I grew up supporting the Eagles.
Right.
Yes.
How do you feel that the Eagles have gone this year? Haven't been too crush-shot in both men's and women's, but the women's, I suppose, got a great new coach named Daisy Pearce.
Yeah, no, I feel like the women's Eagles side is coming. Like, I reckon it's coming a bit far away. Like, we obviously train at Lathlane, and so do they. So they're on before us sometimes, and just watching them, even if it's just like the rehab group down there, and like they're always giving it their all, and it just seems like such a positive environment. So I reckon like positive environments leads to a better side, and I reckon it's going to be a better season for them this year.
That's good. So obviously you mentioned they're training at the same venue as the Eagles girls do. Have you ever had any form of interaction with any of them? Have they ever given you any advice on how to handle things, or if there was a question for you to ask them, or just in general? Have you ever had any players come down at any level at any time to sort advice or anything like that?
Uh, Not in that sense, but we do have at Perth, one of our coaches is Emma O'Driscoll. She's
Right.
our line coach, so yeah, we do get quite a bit of feedback from her. She's one of our coaches. Other than that, I have a few friends at well, Abby Bushby at Eagles, so yeah, a few interactions, but not really on the coaching side. That would be like more an Emma thing, but yeah, yes.
So what's it like having Emma then as a coach? I just didn't know that. So obviously
Yeah.
she's a live character in her own right. So what's it like having her as a coach as well? I'm sure she's just like what she does online and what she is on a football field, very energetic and up and about.
Yeah, Emma's such a genuine person. Like we all love having her. She brings like the spirit to it and like always makes sure like she's so loud. Like you can barely hear us because you can hear her, but it's such a good way. Like she just brings so much joy to training and we love that. We all love it. Yeah.
It's good, obviously. Um, of some of the players in WA, they don't necessarily have to be at Perth. They've recently been drafted. Who are some that you're excited to see how they go heading into this year, or someone that's been in the system for a while, like you mentioned Bushby as well. So, who are you excited to see how they continue to grow their career in the AFLW, or someone who's just about to start?
Oh, I'd have to say Bushby for sure. Like obviously she's had a few setbacks with injuries, stuff like that. But I was at her first game and I watched her get her first goal and I was like, this is gonna be a start of something. So as long as like when she's back on track, I know it's gonna be amazing. Like it's gonna be a good season for Abby.
That's good. Who's some of your favourite teammates down at Perth?
I'd have to say Lauren Davey, Paige Bauer. I don't know, it's hard to like, they're like probably my friends outside of footy, but at Perth we have such a good team dynamic. So it's like I could sit there and list everyone. But yeah, that's the one thing I absolutely love about Perth is like the team spirit is there and we all get along so well. Like, yeah.
Good. Who loves the limelight, the attention, the camera at Perth, and they can't get enough of it, and they know exactly what to do when that camera's around or a microphone's around?
Ooh. I'd have to say Paige Linton. Yeah, she's a bit of a yeah. She's a bit out there, but we love her, yes.
That's good, interesting. Who's the if you were to use an AFL or AFLW play comparison just to the type of player that you play like, who would you say that is and why?
Personally, I've never really sat down and thought about it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like everyone has their different specialties, and yeah, I don't know. It's kind of couldn't really relate myself to one person exactly, but yes,
Any particular style then? Not so much an individual, but the style of player?
yeah. I'd reckon like obviously not at the level at all, but like Emma O'Driscoll's like physicality, I definitely love that. Um, and yeah, that's yeah, I love physicality, and so does she, so it aligns pretty well.
That's fair. Any nicknames you get at the club, Jess, that you like or dislike? Obviously, with a short named, it might be a bit harder to make one.
Sorry, like personal
Uh,
nicknames or like of other people.
get from the club for yourself or anyone in general that you like or dislike when they give you a nickname?
No, I've had a few. So I don't know. I get Pikey, obviously last name Pike. JP's there. Quite like that one. It's always kind of been a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of it. But I like to give out nicknames, so I'm the nickname giver.
Okay, nickname giver then. Okay, what's a name for someone, for example, that you've been the most proud of nickname you've given someone, and what is their first names to know if it makes sense or not?
See, it's not name related at all, but my favourite would have to be her name's Imogen, and she's
Yep.
very, very short. So I call her Mini Munch. I don't know why it just came there one time and it's just stuck, and now like the whole team has almost gotten around it. So yeah.
Bad. I don't mind that. Yeah, keep it up. If you could poach any player from AFL or AFLW to another club to join West Coast hypothetically, so put your list management hat on. Who's joining the Eagles, the men's or women's? Who you taking in be as unrealistic as you want?
Ooh, let's think. It's a hard one. Hmm. I guess we'd have to say like Cara. Like she's gonna have to like yeah, Antonio.
Oh yes, Freo. Yep,
Yeah.
interesting choice. Join the match right, it'd be interesting. Asling McCarthy actually just joined Freo from obviously from your mob West Coast, so that generally you don't see trades like that happen, but that'll be interesting to see how that clash goes once she made that move.
Yeah,
What do
that's
you
right.
Yes. What do you feel is the best individual game you've ever played, Jess? It's got you into the position that you are now, and clearly winning best of fairest. There has to be good games out of that, or standout games.
I reckon thinking back to it, the proudest game may have not have got me to exactly where I am, but
Yeah.
personally the proudest game where I felt like I'd played one of my better games was it was a local game against Huntingdale. I'd
Yeah.
say like 2 or so years ago, and I just walked off the field and I was like I actually played well, and it's very rare that I step off the field and I'm satisfied with how I played. So yeah, that one game has stuck with me. I'm not sure why, but
Yeah.
yeah, just like I played my role pretty well.
That's good. What would you say is the best goal you've ever kicked, Jess? Obviously, you're not playing in other positions sometimes, but at any level, I'm sure you kick goals at some level, even if it's mucking around at training. What would you say is the best goal you've ever kicked?
I'm not much of a goal person. Like
Mm.
my teammates that know me, they're like, if I get the ball and I'm in front of the goals, like I will pass it off like almost 100% of the time. I don't know why. I just feel a bit selfish going for goals. But I did get one in the scratch match against South Freo on the weekend. So the most recent, I'd have to say that one. Yeah, I kind of just got the ball and I even did a little bit like, oh no, like what do I do? Looking for that pass off, no one was there. So yeah, I just was like, you know what, I'm just gonna have to kick it. So I'd have to say
Shot.
that one. I got it. Yeah.
Was that a set shot?
Yeah, it was a set shot. Yeah. Yeah.
Nailed it. Now, obviously, you just said they're rare to kick goals and you generally pass them off. But let's just say you might have done this on the weekend, you might not have. Would you bring out a goal celebration? If so, what would you pull out, or what have you pulled out? Either or, depending if you have or not.
Uh, in that game, I didn't just because I was more like shocked at the fact that I actually kicked it. So I was just like, oh, and I was relieved as well because I don't know, it just brings a lot of stress, anxiety, hence why I pass it off. It was just a bit of like and then I just kind of like walked around, got around my teammates. That's kind of the celebration I'd go to. Like, yeah.
That's good. If you were to best describe the best goal you'd want to ever kick, what would it be? It can be as unrealistic again if you want, whether it's a snap from the boundary, a torp, a check side, after the siren from 50 metres out, whatever you could describe it, what would it be?
Oh, it'd be nice to obviously that ruck position, get that tap. Mia, my mate that plays mid, she gets her hands, I get it back, Torpy out for 50 on the siren. That would be ideal, but it's not an ideal world.
Well, you never know, Jess. And if you do pull that out, I'm sure, JP, there'd be some big celebration. It'd have to be. What go-to celebration would you do if you were to do one? What would it be?
Ooh, it'd probably just be like a little D's up, like going around with
I
my teammates, like go around my teammates first and then just do a little D's up. You just have to like, at that point.
Gotta do something, especially if you rarely kick goals. That'd be a good one. What's something someone does at the club that you cannot stand, whether it's leaving rubbish around, just scaring people, being flat out annoying? Is there anything that jumps to mind?
I'd have to say Lauren Davey, she's just annoying. Like, I love her. She's one of my best mates, but man, she's a handful for sure. Like, I don't even know how to explain her, but everyone knows it. Like, she's just a crazy individual. She'll always try and get that ball and boot it at me as hard as she can. Like, she's just one of those people.
Fair
In a
enough.
friendly way, yeah.
That's good. Um, hmm. Who would you say is one of the toughest opponents you've ever had to match up on at any level? Is there any particular player that comes to mind, or is it more so a team?
It'd have to be, I guess, like the switch. Like when I was at that age where I swapped from the male side to the female side, I see why the rule was put in place because it got to the point where obviously the guys were kind of getting a bit bigger, like stronger, and you could see why there's that why the rules put in place, I guess. So yeah, the last few games in the male side, it was a bit of a tricky game, but I held in there, got through it. But yeah.
Okay, that's fair enough. And yeah, as you said, that's exactly why there's a their mark or goal of the year. Which one would you rather do, and why?
Probably be mark of the year, just because like goal of the year, I'm not really gonna go for goals, but yeah, I just like the sense of a mark. Like it's always good to, yeah,
Very true. I mean, look, I personally just choose a goal, but you can't go wrong in 50-50 decision. And at least, I suppose, with a mark, if it's on camera or on film, you can get a nice new profile picture with that.
exactly. I mean, if it was a good goal, like, and I actually went for goals, it'd definitely be that. But at
Yeah.
the stage I'm at, it'd have to be marks. So yes.
And I would still post the goal regardless as a video form. But either way, here we are. Now you may relate to this. So defenders, I feel like they deserve a bit more love, just JP, than what they actually get because forwards got the Coleman and the midfield's got the Brownlow and even Rux these days start to get recognised in Brownlow votes. So do defenders need their own award as well?
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. Like they are probably the most underrated role, I reckon. Like obviously starting off at Perth, I played centre half back and I didn't realise how much work it is, like running around, like I racked up almost every game one of the highest kilometres. So it was yeah, and watching them play even this season, even though I'm not there, like they work their ass off. So yeah, they deserve it 100%.
That's good. Yeah, I agree. And would you think of a name like the Golden Fist? Like Danny Frilly on Bounce obviously had a segment called the Golden Fist, and they still do it in his honour. Do you think that would be a good name? And they actually have a trophy where they click the button and the big, massive Golden Fist comes out and it's a
Yeah,
gold one.
I reckon that's a good idea. That would be great. Yeah.
I definitely would be on board with that. Who's some teammates that you're impressed by? They kind of fly under the radar a little bit, and they're kind of underrated or don't get talked about as much as they really should.
Yeah, I'd have to go first thought in my brain, Kayla Thomas. She's a young player. She also played at the local club I played for. Also played in a male side, but like a bit younger than me. She does fly on the red a lot. Like she's a brilliant player. She's got a perfect kick on her. No one can say different. Like she the game IQ is there. Yeah, I reckon there's big things coming for her for sure. But yeah.
It's good. I'm sure she'd appreciate that pump up. Now, have you ever had any AFL or AFLW player interactions as a fan? If so, how were they? And were they memorable or were they forgettable?
Yeah, it's like I've had a few interactions. Trying to think back to the most memorable. Oh, it'd have to be Dom Sheed. I was at the Colts Perth Grand Final last year, and I was just sitting there, and some like guy comes up, and there was obviously a game before, and he'd just seen like empty beers all over the floor, and he was like, "Oh, like already on the drinks, are ya?" And like I just didn't think to look up at that point. He was turning face around. I was like, "Ha, yeah, like of course." And my mate like nudges me. I look up. I'm like, "Oh, wow!" Like, yeah. So that was a good interaction. Got a photo, of course. You have to. So yeah, definitely. She.
Definitely, it's a requirement. If you end up talking to an AFL, AFLW player, the photo's the next thing that comes out for sure. And that's really cool. So you were actually speaking to Dom Sheet without necessarily realizing it was him in that second, in that moment.
Yeah, no, it was good. And like we talked for like a lot of the game, talking about our side, like his side. Even we're even trying to poach him as a coach at one point because obviously the Waffle Perth league side's coming in 2025. At that point, we didn't have a coach, so we were like, oh, like come coach. Like obviously unrealistic as a bit of a joke, but yeah.
So That's fair. That's good. Did you said you spoke for a while? So did Dom or yourself, being an Eagles fan, did he bring up 2018 grand final?
He didn't actually, no, and I didn't either. He's a bit of a humble king. So yeah, yeah.
Fair enough. I'm surprised actually. I mean, I get why he wouldn't if he actually thought about it, but yeah, it's a huge honour and it's a good one to brag about. It's probably one of the greatest grand final moments. Definitely a recent memory for sure. And obviously, as an Eagles fan, you would have loved that. Favorite TV shows or movies that you have?
Oh, I'm not really a movie person, just because I don't really sit still. I like to keep moving. Like storylines aren't really my thing. TV
Yeah.
shows. Trying to think my favorite. Been getting into Gilmore Girls recently. Wouldn't
Okay.
say it's my favorite, but it's up there. So yeah, I'd have to give it to that for now. But yeah.
Yeah, it always chops and changes sometimes.
Yeah.
Are you trying to always watch a season over and over again, or kind of remember scene by scene, or are you more just you watched it and that's it type of thing?
I kind of watch it, but I like to look back on highlights. Same thing kind of goes with the movie side of things. Can't just sit there like I don't know. I do love watching my footy. I'd rather be there in person, but the highlights just bring a sense of like I can sit there, I can watch this, like thrill. So yeah, definitely that type of person.
Very true. Now, what are some fun facts, JP, about you that some people may not know about you?
Oof. Fun facts. Trying to think. Can hold a handstand for a randomly long time.
No,
That could be fun. Yeah.
that definitely counts. I'm not going to actually demonstrate because you've thrown off, but that is very, very impressive and definitely fits that category. This kind of also fits in the same category as well. Any hidden talents that you have, and would that be one?
Hidden talents. I'd reckon that's a bit hidden. Like,
Yeah.
my friends obviously know, but people that just kind of meet me, they just don't think I'm that type of person, which I'm not. But it's just a bit of a random skill that I've gained. Yeah.
It's good outside of footy. It's nice to have something else as well. Did you ever play any other sports besides footy growing up?
Yeah. Growing up, I've done quite a bit of things, like quite random too. So obviously, like footy. Going to athletics a bit. At my school, I was in the athletics high performance program. Um, I got in through school to the WAIS velodrome cycling and kayaking, so that was pretty cool. I just did a bit of that to see. I've
Mm-hmm.
done along those lines, like umpiring, like with an association for footy. Done a bit of basketball, but yeah, they're the main ones really. Yeah.
It's good. So how is it being an umpire at any sport? Does it give you a better understanding now of what they kind of cop or what it's like compared to being a player of that sport?
Yeah, for sure. You don't realize how hard it actually is. Like they only have that split second to react. And although people like may get frustrated in the moment, you got to remember they're humans too. Like the players are making mistakes, obviously the umpires are going to. It's just what happens. So yeah, they deserve a lot more respect. And I think that is rolling out as the years go by. So it's great to see that.
It's very true. If you were stuck on a deserted island with teammates JP, who would you want to bring and not want to bring?
Oof, want to bring. I think I'd bring Mia Cowhousen just because she's a character and a half. Like our little joy in the center. I don't know. I just love playing alongside it. So it'll be fun. Maybe not the brightest if we're trying to escape, but it would keep me entertained and sure we'd figure it out at the end. Person I'd not like to bring would probably be. There's quite a few, but
Drop.
I reckon maybe Paige Linton, because I reckon she'd just sit there crying and be like, I just want my phone. So yeah, I reckon I'd keep her to the side.
Fair enough. I mean, now actually, phone is actually something I was going to bring up to some degree. Some people say, actually, this will go into this question. So, most prized possessions you have,
Prize possession. Oof.
something that you own that you couldn't live without, or just very special to you?
I guess it'd have to be like sentimental things. Like I have a few little things, like jewelry that mean a lot to me from like people that have, yeah, like obviously people that have passed. So yeah, those things mean a lot, like a lot to me, more than money. You can't replace them at the end of the day.
That is very, very true. Sometimes they say money can't buy happiness. They say so. That's very
Yeah.
true. Now, I bring up the phone because people say, uh, you know, at your age, which is not much different to mine, that phones are very important. Is that maybe if it's not highly ranked, it's obviously a prized possession to some degree, isn't it? Because people that honestly say they can't live without a phone at our ages is probably full of crap.
Yeah, no, I do reckon it is useful, especially like people using it. Like, it's not even just for scrolling through social media. Like, I know I use it for like work purposes, like keeping up with my studies. There's a lot of things that go into it, even like contacting bosses. There's a lot of things that you can actually do on it rather than just playing games or scroll on TikTok or stuff like that. But obviously, gotta love that side of things too. Yeah.
Now, some controversial food questions: tomato sauce, ketchup, tomato sauce, fridge or cupboard?
Covered, covered.
So I love that. Chicken palmy or something else?
I'd have to go chicken palmy for sure. Yeah.
Thank you. Finally, well, not finally, but someone. Because I just don't understand it. Parmigiana. It's spelled with a P-A-R-M-I, not a Y or an A or an E or E-Y. I just
Yeah.
don't get people that say that.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. Palmer, yeah.
Yeah. Where are they living in America? Now, let's see if we can go 3 for 3 here. Pineapple on a pizza, yes or no?
Ooh. If I was making a pizza, no, but
Mm-hmm.
I would eat it. Like, I wouldn't pick it off. But if I was choosing, no.
3 for 3. Thank you very much. Well, I'll
That's
take it. Don't like pineapple, so you can put pineapple on a sandwich, and I'll still say no. So, 3 for
maybe
3 there.
tomato.
JP, you've nailed that test. Pass that test. So speaking of foods, favorite food.
Favorite food. I've actually got asked this yesterday, and it was a bit of a tough one. I'd have to
Yeah.
go with like a special fried rice though, like
Okay.
from like Chinese shops. Like they go hard. Like I just know like when my mum or dad goes and gets that, like I'll be eating almost the whole tub with no regrets.
That's favorite food. Food you don't like.
I like mushrooms. Like I just don't like the texture, less the taste, but like the texture is just like weird. Like I
Yeah.
don't get why I like that. But yeah,
No,
that would have to be mine for sure.
we're 4 for 4. Well, this is good. Keep it up. See, people need to learn and listen to JP more often. This is very good. Best dish to cook.
Like personally to cook.
That you cook, or just some if you don't really cook, something stock standard.
Yeah. I guess one of the easier things is a spag bog,
Yep.
but I do. If I were to make something, it'd probably have to be a fried rice. It would nowhere near as good as a Chinese store, but it would be a fried rice.
That's fair enough. Best chatterbox at the club.
Ooh, I feel like it's a bit of a controversial question, as people would say me, but I'm gonna hand it over to probably Lauren. Like, I mean, we talk together a lot, so I'll just pass it off to her.
That's fair. The loudest and quietest teammates, the club.
Loudest, probably Geordie Macri, our captain, just because she likes to, like yell, get around the girls.
Yeah.
Quiet. There's actually quite a few. Like they're coming out of their shell as time goes on because they just came from the development side of thing. But I reckon maybe I haven't heard like we have a player called Amber. She's a bit of a quiet one, but I'm trying to crack her. I've been talking to
Yeah.
her a bit more recently to try to get them out of their shell, really. So yeah, Amber.
Good choice. So favorite takeaway place. I'm going to assume something to do with Chinese.
Yeah. See, the thing is, like, Chinese is good, but like, I don't eat red meat, so it's like the fried
Okay.
rice is just kind of it.
Yeah.
But favorite takeaway, it'd have to be Zambreros. I do love a burrito or a burrito bowl for sure.
That's 5 for 5, and you don't know how many Perth people I've spoken to in the last 4 weeks on here, or in person with the Golden Challenge I just recently did, and I hear that so many times. And I've said to people in the last few episodes that I have no idea what that was, but now I really know what it is. I know that was their reaction too. I hadn't really heard of it before. I might have briefly heard it from over time, but not really known what it was. But yeah, that seems to be a common answer. And I love burritos too. So what is your go-to burrito order?
Oh, so it's if I'm feeling a burrito bowl or a actual burrito. Same thing goes into it. We've got that white rice, chicken burrito, sour cream cheese. We're adding that guac for $2. I don't care. Corn, onion, lettuce, chipotle sauce. Done.
Yeah,
Perfect right there. Yeah. Oh,
chipotle
and
sauce.
pickles.
That's a good option, and chipotle sauce is a good choice. A few sauces there you mentioned too. You love the sauce and mixture as well. Spicy foods. Can you handle the spice?
Not a lot. I can deal with it. My dad, he's crazy with spices, so I can handle it. But preferably, I'd prefer it without. Just yeah.
So I agree with your dad then. I love it. It's something I could tolerate. But a recommendation, I'm sure you wouldn't do this, but if you ever have spicy buffalo sauce, which is a real spicy one, I mean, I can tolerate it, but it's like one of these McDonald's packets, those little small packets they give you. Do not tip the whole thing into a chips packet because you won't be able to finish it because I can tolerate basically any spicy food and I couldn't finish it. And I literally had my whole drink that I had with me and it was still burning in that for 10 minutes. I finished the last bite.
Yeah, that is not. I would hate to be in your situation there.
I mean, I can tolerate it, but gee, for that 10 minutes, I was just I reckon I drank 2 bottles and I wouldn't drink that quick.
You need to get some milk.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe I should have done that if there was any available, and if I even was. Well, what are some quirks some people would say you'd have, Jess, that you wouldn't necessarily like to admit?
I don't like to admit. It's quite a few actually. Off the top of my brain, probably like to my friends, I'd definitely come across as annoying. I like to stay moving. I like to, like I'm a bit of an odd one. They'd say. Don't like to admit it, but yeah.
That's right. Just because they say it does not mean it's true.
Exactly. Like add some spice to their day. Like they shouldn't be complaining.
They can't handle the heat. Get out.
Exactly. I'll tell them that next time.
Oh, there you go. Celebrity crush.
Oh, celebrity crush. When I was younger, it'd have to be Cole Sprouse. I can't remember what I watched, but I guess. Oh, and hand in hand with that, like along the same line, probably Heath Ledger. That's still there. But yeah.
Nice. Favorite music.
Sorry.
Favorite music.
Favorite music, like genre, artist.
Either or, yeah.
Yeah. I like quite a range of music, like from like 70s to like obviously like nowish. I'd have to say Bob Marley's up there. But obviously we've got the Aussie bands, like Tame Impala, Spacey Jane. Yeah, like there's quite a few I could list. I'm a bit of a music girl, so yeah, I like records. So yeah.
Now I have to ask this because it's a certain thing I want to say. If you are you a Taylor Swift fan? Are you what they call a Swiftie?
I wouldn't classify myself as a Swiftie just for the fact that I absolutely love her old songs, but personally, like the Shake It Off type songs, the newer songs, don't really like. But like Love Story, 15, I would jam out to my car with that with no shame.
That's fair. Now, trust me, I'm not a Taylor Swift person at all, but I know people that don't like her and they, for some reason, generally can't stand when someone brings her up. So I started incorporating this thing recently, and it's just one of those songs you just mentioned, Shake It Off. When people just get pissed off and when they're whinging about something, in general now, I'll just say the last 3 weeks I've been saying this. So just look, just shake it off. And I'll do it to the people that hate it. And I'll say, look, all you just stop doing is you got to stop hate, and they freaking hate it.
Oh, I would too.
They don't like Taylor Swift, and I'm using Taylor Swift jokes on them. They're just so if you ever know someone that doesn't like Taylor Swift, just do that. Say to stop hating, and all that.
That sounds like a good.
Check it off because I know if they hate her, they will know those lines and they will probably get pissed. Well, the people I have do. They get to a point where they tell me to shut up. And I go, no, look, and I start bringing that up on them on purpose. It's funny. I love doing it, and they hate it. So I'm going to keep on doing it. Now, 2 more questions for you, Jess. So I really appreciate you coming on. Now I'm going to do a bit of of a word association here. When I say one thing, I'm going to try and think what it relates to. Okay, so this person is an AFLW player, and there's one hint you're going to get, and that is a bush. That's it. What do you think of when you bush? And what comes? Yeah, perfect. I just randomly thought that in the last few minutes. I thought, try something. Okay. And one more. I'm going to try. They're not hard because I'm literally just thinking the top of your head. Okay. When you think of demons, what do you think of?
I've never read that. I just think of like that action.
Yeah,
is it a player?
Oh, no. So demons. You could have said Melbourne Demons. You could have said Perth Demons.
Oh. Yeah, have to be Perth Demons with that. Like, it would have to be like up D's, you know, like.
Yeah, that's fair enough. That counts. All right, final one. The pressure coming on, JP. Dream scenario for you this year. If you could describe this again, just how you would love for it to pan out, what would it be?
Dream scenario. Win. Just get a win. Last season we didn't get a win at all, so yeah.
Just nice and basic. Sometimes the best way to go about it. JP, I really appreciate you coming on. Been a pleasure having you on. All the best for the rest of this season. All that coaching, all the stuff around it. Maybe another BNF around the corner. Thanks for coming on.
No, definitely not BNF, but yeah. I don't know. Nice. Yeah, it's good to play. That's for sure.
For sure. Thanks, Jess.